begins during the morning rush in Hanoi. The destination is 80 miles southeast of the city.
I have this yearning to know him, to know more about him. I think he and I could be good friends.
Bumping along Highway 1 about 40 miles an hour, former Sergeant Paul Reed, Vietnam War veteran, is moving closer to his meeting with First Lieutenant Nguyen Van Nia, a veteran of the American War. They are linked by the tenuous thread of a shared war and a small book.
We were moving up this mountain. We knew that the Vietnamese, the North Vietnamese, were there. We didn't know exactly where they were. It was our job to go search, find them, and then destroy them. And it was always wet, always damp, always musky, and leeches everywhere. And we were looking for this enemy that was dug in, patiently waiting for us, day after day after day after day. And when we heard the first shots rang out, usually we would be on the ground in just less than a heartbeat. You're scared to death. It's like you want to pull yourself under your steel pipe and just hide. You don't know which one of them bullets is going to hit you. Maybe a bullet comes down just another half inch, maybe a quarter of an inch, and you're dead. They were so close we could hear them talking. I suppose they were going through the same thing. What are they going to do when the Americans come?
25 years later, that question is on Paul's mind again. What will they do when the Americans come? This trail leads to Nguyen Van Nia's house in the small town of Tien Hai. Paul's old enemy is just steps away.
And this is Mr. Nia's house.
Mr. Nia's house?
Yeah.
Are you going to introduce me?
Yep. Chào bác. Đây là ông Paul Reed, là cái người mà đã nhặt được cái ba lô của bác.
Hello, Mr. Nia. I'm pleased to meet you.
Xin chào.
Tôi rất cảm động.
I'm very moved and I'm very pleased to meet you here.
Our paths crossed a long time ago under a very difficult situation.
Trong một cái hoàn cảnh rất là phức tạp, rất là khó khăn.
And we've got a lot to talk about.
Chúng tôi cũng sẽ có rất nhiều điều để muốn nói với ông.
Mời ông vào trong nhà.
So please.
Paul is invited into Nia's small home. The house is comfortable by Vietnamese standards. But Paul and Nia are not comfortable with each other. After an exchange of polite questions about family, Nia takes the first step.
I'm very moved and very pleased to have you here in my home. It is quite a long trip to Vietnam, and you got my pack during the war. Now you bring it to my home. I'm so very happy.
I don't have the complete pack, but I've got things that will be important to you.
As Nia's friends and family gather around, Paul's story unfolds about how the small diary went to the United States, then sat on a shelf for 20 years.
I had forgotten all about your belongings.
And how the words in this small diary helped Paul break free of the war.
And I see that you were just like I was. You were only doing what you believed in.
Word of the diary and the visiting American brought neighbors and friends to Nia's house.
In the small book, you talk about your wife. And you say when you come home from the war, you have children. And boys look like you, and girls look like her. They look like you.
Cho nên là tôi cũng thấy là con trai ông cũng nhìn cũng rất là giống ông.
Do you remember much about those days?
My memory is not clear. It was affected by the bombs from the B-52s.
Wounds from the war nearly blinded Nia. He cannot see with his left eye. Vision in his right eye is poor. He no longer reads or writes the poetry that once filled his diary. Paul did not take everything from Nia's rucksack that day, just a few personal items.
This is my scissors to cut hair for each other.
Nia carried stamps, but during 5 years of war, only one letter made it home to his wife, delivered by a returning soldier.
Here are pictures.
They are pictures of my friends. When we say goodbye to each other, we give our pictures. I cannot see them. Many people, I thought they died.
Many people, I thought they died.
That's the sister of my friend.
Pretty.
Rất là xinh.
You know, at that time, we got so many pictures of girls along the way south to the battlefield.
Oh, you young man, girls give you their picture, right? Understand. Okay, last picture.
It is a picture of my friend. We met on the Ho Chi Minh Trail, and we exchanged our pictures. I think he's dead.
I thought this was you.
No, it's my friend.
This picture, Paul's inspiration for so long, is not Nia as a young man, but someone else.
This small book helped me to see you as a good person. Before I read the small book, I did not like you.
Trước kia mà khi mà chưa đọc cái cuốn sách này thì tôi không thích gì ông cả.
You and your unit killed some of my friends.
Và ông cũng như là đơn vị của ông cũng đã giết chết một số đồng đội của tôi.
And I want you to know that I hated you very severely.
Và trước đây thì nói là tôi rất là căm ghét ông.
But you lost friends too.
Và ông cũng mất những người bạn của ông.
And you said in your small book here that you were angry at me too.
Thế và trong cái cuốn sách nhỏ này ông cũng biết là ông cũng rất là ghét căm.
Are you still angry?
Thế bây giờ ông có còn tức giận đối với người Mỹ?
Forget the past. Now we are friends. I'm grateful it's past. I'm very happy that I lived to see this day.
So, you forgive me and my unit?
Thế ông có tha lỗi cho bản thân tôi cũng như cho đơn vị của tôi không?
Yes.
And I forgive you.
It is a day neither man expected. The poetry in Nia's diary, written in the darkest moments of war, was so valued that each of his companions promised to carry it on if the others fell in combat. They vowed to bring it back here to Tien Hai as a memorial to their sacrifice. And now, 26 years later, it is back, brought home by Paul Reed, an American soldier who came to cherish the poems as they had.
Come on, yeah. Come on, yeah. Thank you. To good health. To good health.
A toast before lunch was not the green tea Paul expected, rather a strong rice liquor.
Excellent.
By lunchtime, the curious crowd overflows Nia's small house.
Lots of people.
In this town, there are about 5,000 people.
5,000.
The population.
Population.
There is no escaping the crowd on a walk through Wen Va Nia's hometown, Tien Hai.
Đây là bán ghế ngồi ạ.
You know, they make furniture.
Make furniture.
You mean the soldiers who were wounded during the war and be sent here to work in this factory?
Right here?
Yeah, right here.
66-year-old Wen Va Nia is well known in his hometown. In a traditional Vietnamese gesture of friendship and respect, he proudly takes Paul hand in hand down the main street. It is a statement immediately understood by Nia's neighbors. But to Paul Reed, raised in North Dallas, it is an uncomfortable clash of cultures.
United States. Tốt lắm.
Vâng ạ, thời gian năm 67 và 68 thì coi như là cái khu vực này là bị
In the period 1967-68, this area was heavily bombed. I was very scared, very frightened when we heard the warning that the American planes were coming. I very quickly took my children to the shelter.
At night, I felt very sad, living in the jungle, so far away from home, so empty.
At
night, I would have dreams, nightmares that he was dead.
Sometimes I dream about the battles. It is very terrible and very fierce. Why did Americans come? And why did I have to live like that in the jungle?